Another important thing that's different about the work that he's doing compared to some of the previous work on the Chiron topic is his discussions of what is the role of the healer? What is going on here with this concept of like wounding, being wounded, and being a healer? What is a healer? What about talking about that? And where he took that conversation kind of goes like this. So he said there's like stages that you go through in this process. In the stage where you're wounded, you're starting to have an increase in awareness of things that took place, things that happened. You're starting to process it. Like, I'm starting to realize maybe you were suppressing it before, and it's the information starting to come back up. And now you're starting to tune in and pay a bit more attention. You're starting to process and work through it, but there's a tendency there to be kind of like in a victim kind of state of mind. Oh, I'm wounded and these things happened to me. There's a stage where you transcend beyond that, which takes you to the next stage, which is the wounded healer stage. Now you say, okay, I've gotten past that victim mindset. Now I want to go out and I want to help other people heal. And I want to bring these things that I learned to other people and help them through the process as well. This is a stage, not that there's not important work going on here. He actually does healing work. He points out that healers are doing incredible work. And yes, healing work is great. Healers are doing incredibly important work, but there is also a stage that you want to get beyond this as well. And this is the reason why. When you are in that wounded healer stage, you are still in a process of being identified with the wound. You're still identifying with the wound. You're still kind of there. And so how do you then take things to the next level? So this takes us around to a conversation of what is actually happening when a person heals. And doing healing work with his clients, he kind of pointed this out. He said, a person can't heal unless they're actually taking steps to heal themselves. They actually have to do the work. They have to generate it from within, and they have to actually take steps forward and to start to heal themselves. That's actually where the healing comes from. You have to heal yourself. You have to do it yourself. And what the healer is doing, it's not healing coming from outside. They might be holding space. They might be facilitating. They might be helping you along in the direction towards getting some new tools or taking some steps in the right direction. But what they're really doing is facilitating and holding a space for you while you figure out that, like, oh, I've got to do this myself. I've got to heal myself. So that takes us to the next stage. It goes beyond the wounded healer. Wounded healer, you're still kind of identifying with the wound. You want to also get past that stage. And what stage comes after that? And the stage that comes after that is getting in touch with your uniqueness as an individual. Nobody else is exactly like you. You are totally a unique individual person. And getting in touch with that, you start to realize that some of these wounds that you have, some of these things that made you different are actually gifts that you have. And these are gifts that the world is waiting to receive. So you can get in touch with that and bring this stuff out in a positive way, get the energy flowing surrounding that. And that can take you to a place where you are no longer caught up in identifying with the wound or with being wounded or being in the process of dealing with wounds. You're now taking things outwards, getting in touch with your uniqueness, the gifts that you have to offer and to bring to the world. And also the other thing that it does is it gives you some wisdom and some clarity where you can see different stages that other people are at and kind of respect the space and the time that they are at. You're not there to heal everybody. You're not there to fix all of the things at once. They've got to go through that process themselves, and you're giving them the space and the ability to do that, but also getting in touch with that uniqueness. You can see what makes that person unique and different. Those things that they have going on in those areas of life, that it's also a gift that they have. It's also what makes them unique and different, So those are some ways that the work of Tom Jacobs is kind of laying out some new groundwork where we're taking these topics of Chiron in astrology.
Yeah, I love that. Also, because that's a common theme that we keep hitting on here in the Over Sharon show. It's about, we're not here to heal anybody else. We're just here to heal ourselves. And then we can maybe help people help themselves along the way. And I was also thinking about the story of Chiron, how he was killed by an arrow, even though he wasn't involved in the war. And it kind of reminds me, it's like the Bhagavad Gita, because people like us always say we're just going to step away from society and we're not going to deal with all that stuff. But I think at some point if there is a split or something's going on or there's a war, not maybe an actual war, but if we're using it as an allegory, there you do kind of have to at some point pick a side that you're going to be on. And again, it's not like a real war, just maybe a war within a spiritual war, because those arrows are going to be slung no matter what. If all of humanity is going to war, you're still a part of humanity. You're still part of the collective consciousness. So sometimes you have to metaphorically pick a side. And again, I like to just use these topics of war as like a war within, but you have to pick a side and you actually have to do the work. And if you're just standing in the middle trying to mediate or help and heal everybody else, then you might get hit with one of these arrows that wasn't even intended for you and it wasn't anyone's intention, but just, wrong place, wrong time. And that's what's going to happen. And I feel like that's what is happening right now. We're seeing kind of a split in consciousness. Some people are spiraling upwards, some people are spiraling down. So I would say go ahead and spiral up. You don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel bad if there's people around you who don't see it. You can't fix the world. You can't stop the war or the split or whatever it is. There's nothing you could do. It's not up to you to do that. It's a function of this realm, or maybe it's something God's doing, however you look at it in your, with your own cosmology. So yeah, it's really just like Krishna said to Arjuna when Arjuna didn't want to fight the battle. He's like, but you're a warrior. So for you to not fight a battle is the most disgraceful thing that you can do, especially if it's a righteous battle. And I feel like, again, not that it's a war, but there's a war within, and it is a righteous battle. And it is up to you yourself to fight that war, because if not, you could still get hit with a stray arrow,